Welcome to the show called Beyond Our Galaxy. On today's show, we're going to be talking about our great big solar system, Part 2. We are going to be talking today about the outer planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. This is how the correct view of our great big solar system looks like today. Before we arrive at the first outer planet we call Jupiter, we need to travel through a rocky road called the asteroid belt. This is located in the center of our solar system. Millions of rocks are floating through space here. NASA had launched a very familiar space probe to journey to the outer planets. On September 5th, 1977, NASA launched Voyager 1 space probe into space on a Titan IIIe space rocket. Voyager 1 had to safely travel through this rocky road that is about 92,955,807 miles wide. This is what some of those big rocks look like. At last, the Voyager 1 space probe safely makes it through the asteroid belt. Voyager 1 travels through space at speeds of some 38,000 miles per hour. Finally, in 1977, about 2 years later, after its launch, Voyager 1 arrives at Jupiter. Voyager 1 has traveled some 11 billion miles through space to make it here. But first, let's talk about some of those most popular asteroids that astronomers have noted. These three asteroids pictured below are the most popular ones: Ceres, Pallas, Vesta. However, these are no longer classified as asteroids. They are minor planets. Ceres, minor planet, discovered on January 1st, 1801. Orbits the Sun once every 1,680 days. Size, 590 miles big. Ceres discovered as astronomer Giuseppe Piazza, appropriately called Ceres Asteroid 1. Minor planet Pallas orbits the Sun once every 1,686 days. Size, 321 miles big. Discovered on March 28, 1802. Minor planet Vesta orbits the Sun once every 1,325 days. Discovered on March 29, 1807. Astronomer Henrik Wilhelm Olbers is the discoverer of both minor planets Pallas and Vesta. Believe it or not, an asteroid can travel as fast as 6,472 miles per second through space. Asteroids are classified in two different types: Trojan asteroids and near-Earth objects. Earthlings need not have to worry about a huge asteroid striking our planet at all. The closest onto Earth is farther away than our own moon, more than 240,000 miles away. What we Earthlings do experience is what is called meteors in the sky, like this one in this picture. Most meteors burn up in the atmosphere before hitting Earth, but meteors like this one fell onto Russian land back in 2013. These meteors caused damage to buildings and injured many people. Meteors can be very small, like this one, to very big, like this one called the Barringer Meteor Crater in Arizona. This crater is some 570 feet deep and 1 mile wide. Someday we Earthlings will take a journey on a spaceship to an asteroid. Will you be one of those adventurous astronauts on that ship? Here's a future Earth colony on an asteroid. But for now, we Earthlings continue our journey to the planet Jupiter. Hey Sam, NASA is looking for volunteers to Jupiter. Not me, Joe. No, sir. I don't volunteer for nothing. Why not, Sam? Where's your sense of adventure at? My sense of adventure is right here, Joe. I feel safer on Mars. But Joe, that's why we joined NASA, for the adventure. Not me, Joe. I joined for the great retirement benefits. But just think, Sam, we'll be making history. You may be, but not me, Sam. No, sirree. Besides, I like the view here better. 2 years later. Man, Joe, why did you have to raise your hand? Planet Jupiter. 5th planet from the Sun. Largest planet in the solar system. First gas giant planet. Located about 483 million miles away from the Sun. Jupiter's farthest distance from the Sun is 507 million miles away. Jupiter's closest distance to the Sun is 460 million miles away. Planet Jupiter orbits the Sun once every 11 years. Rotates once every 9 hours. The chemical makeup, hydrogen and helium. Planet Jupiter. First and largest gas giant planet. Size of Jupiter, 43,411 miles big. Has about 80 moons that orbit it. Ah, I could see sainthood at last. What do you think about them apples, Nick?
I don't know, gal. Sainthood comes awful hard nowadays.
But Nick, just think, we're making history.
But gal, sainthood is usually reserved for the Pope, not common people like us.
But Nick, we deserve sainthood for proving the Sun is the center of the solar system.
No buts about it, gal. I like being in the history books instead.
Okay, Nick, have it your way. I still like the sainthood idea. In the year 1610 AD, Galileo Galilei had invented his primitive but useful telescope. This is what Galileo saw in his telescope. The smaller objects orbited a bigger object as seen here. Therefore, the Sun, being the biggest object in the solar system, has to be the center of it all. Here are the 4 large moons of Jupiter as seen in this picture here. A view of Jupiter from its moon, Europa. A picture of Jupiter in the night sky during the month of March. Can you identify what this constellation is? A nighttime picture of Jupiter in the sky. Voyager 1 space probe finally arrives at Jupiter in 1977. It took 2 years to get there. Perhaps one of the most noticeable thing about Jupiter is the GRS, or the Great Red Spot, seen here. The Great Red Spot orbits counterclockwise. been known for about 340 years. Located in the South Equator Belt. Wind speed 384 miles per hour. Another nighttime view of planet Jupiter. Well, Joe, I hope you're happy now. Sam, isn't that a beautiful view of Jupiter? I don't know, Joe. I miss Mars more. Sam, where's your sense of adventure, man? My sense of adventure is back on Mars, Joe. Why, Sam? Astronauts join NASA for the adventure of it. I liked my view of Earth back on Mars, Joe. Sorry to hear that, Sam, but just the same, she is beautiful down there. I should have been a bartender. We now journey with Voyager 1 onto planet Saturn. Voyager 1 flies by planet Saturn on August 25th, 1989. Planet Saturn. Sixth planet from the Sun. 890 million miles from the Sun. 67 known moons. 53 are named. My eyes must be getting bad. I think I'm seeing things. One of the most noticeable things about Saturn is its rings, as seen here in this picture. Saturn is 890 million miles away from the Sun. Saturn's closest distance to the Sun is 840 million miles away. Saturn's farthest distance from the Sun is 941 million miles away. Saturn has 62 known moons that orbit, for which 52 moons are named. The next pictures show some of the names of Saturn's moons. Perhaps the most noteworthy moon of Saturn is the one seen in this picture called Titan. It contains one element necessary for Earthlings to survive with: water. It was discovered on March 25th, 1655 by the astronomer in the next picture. Astronomer Christian Huygens, Dutch nationality, astronomer, mathematician, scientist, physicist, probabilist, horologist, 1629 to 1695. Titan 4B rocket launches the Cassini space probe into space on October 15, 1997. Titan 4B rocket carried with the Cassini space probe to fly to the planet Saturn. The Cassini space probe explores the rings of Saturn. Cassini space probe also drops the Huygens probe onto the moon Titan, as we see in the next picture. Huygens space probe, a tiny probe, is dropped onto Titan's surface. Built by ESA, European Space Agency, it landed on Titan on January 14, 2005. The Cassini space probe was named after this astronomer, Italian astronomer Giovanni Cassini, 1625-1712, first astronomer to notice a major gap in the rings of Saturn. As one can see here in this picture is how the Saturn rings are divided. The Cassini division is the dark rings seen here. These rings are rocks varied in sizes that orbit the planet. These rings are notably dubbed A, B, C, D, E, and F. now leave planet Saturn and journey onwards towards our next planet. We now arrive with Voyager 1 at the planet Uranus. Astronomer William Herschel, British astronomer, 1738 to 1822. Field to study astronomy and music. Discovers planet Uranus on January 1781. Voyager 1 arrives at Uranus in January 1986 and flies within 56,000 miles from it. Planet Uranus is 1,700,000,000 miles away from the Sun. Planet Uranus' farthest distance from the Sun is 1.8 billion miles away. Planet Uranus' closest distance from the Sun is 1.7 billion miles away. Planet Uranus is the seventh planet from the Sun. Third gas giant planet. Orbits the Sun once every 84 years and rotates once every 17 hours. Blue-green color. Chemical makeup is gas, liquid, and icy atmosphere. Temperature minus 243 degrees Fahrenheit. Has 27 moons that orbit the planet. Two most notable things about Uranus are these. It tilts on a 97-degree angle. And has rings that orbit like Saturn does. Here's a picture of what planet Uranus looks like tilted on its axis. One also can see some of Uranus' moons orbiting it as well. Here are the 5 most noticeable moons of Uranus: Titania, Oberon, Umbriel, Ariel, Miranda. Astronomer William Herschel discovers Titania in 1787. Titania, second largest moon in the solar system. Titania is about 989 miles big. Orbits Uranus about 271,000 miles away. Orbits around Uranus in about 80.7 days. Titania contains water, ice, and other chemical elements on it. Titania contains water in the form of nitrogen compounds. Our next moon we are going to talk about is Oberon. Orbits Uranus some 363,881 miles away. Orbits around Uranus is once every 13 days. Discovered in 1787 by William Herschel. Many impacted craters found it, and no atmosphere on Oberon. Our next moon we are going to talk about is Umbriel. Distance from Uranus, 165,000 miles away. Orbits Uranus once every 4 days. Discovered by William Lassell in 1851. Rotates once every 99 hours. Crater impacted, some as large as 130 miles big. Our next moon we're going to talk about is Ariel. Fourth largest moon of Uranus. Located about 118,000 miles away from Uranus. Orbits Uranus once every 2.5 days. Make up of this water, ice, and CO2. Tidal lock, one side of the moon always faces the planet. Our next moon we are going to talk about is Miranda. Located from Uranus about 80,157 miles away. Smallest and closest moon to Uranus. Discovered in 1948 by astronomer Gerard Kuiper, orbits Uranus once every 39 hours. The most striking feature of Marana is shown in the next picture. The Coronas, located in the south part of the moon, approximately 120 miles wide and 12 miles deep. We now leave planet Uranus and fly to our last planet in the solar system. However, it is with Voyager 2 space probe that now takes us there. Planet Neptune is the 8th planet from the Sun. Planet Neptune is located 2,700,000,000,000 miles away from the Sun. Planet Neptune's farthest distance from the Sun is 2.8 trillion miles away. Planet Neptune's closest distance to the Sun is 2.7 trillion miles away from the Sun. Planet Neptune, shaped like a cantaloupe vegetable. 13 moons orbit the planet. Temperature is minus 391 degrees. Fourth gas giant planet in the solar system. Planet Neptune, discovered in 1846 by two German astronomers, Johann Galle and Heinrich d'Arrest. It is 15,299 miles big. Orbits the Sun once every 165 years and rotates once every 18 hours. Here is a comparison picture of Earth next to Neptune. Planet Neptune has rings that orbit it as well, like Saturn and Uranus. The ring is made up of dust grains and ice particles. One of the most striking features about Neptune was the GDS, or Great Dark Spot, as seen here in this picture. Wind speeds average up to 1,500 miles per hour. The dark spot was observed for 5 years, has now disappeared. Now we take a look at planet Neptune's most noticeable moon of all. Triton is 1,500 miles big. Discovered in 1846 by astronomer William Lassell. Triton is a frozen rock of nitrogen methane. In other words, frozen ice water. Here is a picture diagram of how Triton orbits Neptune. Well, here are some awesome pictures of Neptune taken by Voyager 2 and Hubble telescope. So just sit right back in your easy chair and relax and enjoy. Well, Mr. Spock, what do you think about Earth's solar system now?
I find it very fascinating, Gal.
Is that all you can say, Mr. Spock?
Well, Gal, that would be the most logical thing I could see.
Logic, is that all you can say? Don't you have any feelings at all for astronomy?
Feelings, gal, isn't human emotions. Vulcans do not have emotions.
Shoot, Mr. Spock, where's your sense of adventure then?
Adventure, gal, is just something that happens.
Oh, darn your logic, Mr. Spock.
Darn is an illogical statement, gal.
And the journey continues. Beyond our galaxy.